Welcome to our series, Moving America Forward. Each week we'll be focusing on America's entrepreneurs as they take us to new roads, new opportunities, new ways to fill the gaps left by today's failing companies. Our series will be looking at that and a lot more. So come with me and watch as the entrepreneurs of our nation move into the future.
And I'm Doug Llewellyn here in our studios in Los Angeles with our guest today, who's the CEO of a company named Corcoran Consulting and Coaching, which is headquartered in O'Fallon, Illinois. It's very near St. Louis, just on the other side of the Mississippi. I'd like you to meet him now. His name is Bubba Mills. And that's his real name, folks, Bubba Mills. You've been known by everybody as Bubba most of your life, right?
It has. I'm telling you, only IRS knows my own legal name, and I'm not telling you.
And it's on your business card.
It is on my business card,
Bubba
yes, sir.
Mills.
Yes, sir.
Bubba, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let me point out, a little while ago, you had a chance to have a conversation with William Shatner. Let's watch a brief portion of that and see how it went, okay?
Sure.
Watch this.
I know you've been successful in your business, but what I would like to hear is just a brief capsule of exactly what it is you do and who do you do it for, and how do you see this helping America to move forward?
You know, Mr. Shatner, owning your own business has always been the American dream. Unfortunately, the business world has never been more competitive, and many of the skills needed to succeed as a business owner, they're not being taught anywhere in school. What we do is act as like a board of directors for small businesses, coaching their employees, executive teams, and changing the culture so they can be more successful. That, Mr. Shatner, is how we are helping to move America forward.
That's very interesting what you had to say to William Shatner. I want you to define something for me to begin with. What's the difference between consulting and coaching? How do you answer that?
A little more difficult than just wordsmith. A consultant will come in on a shorter contract, say a 3 or 6 months, and look at your company as a whole. And then they will work with you on building a defined future, a business plan for it.
Right.
And then they walk away.
Right.
A coach is there to help you implement it throughout the entire process. So it's usually a little bit longer of a contract, usually about 12 months, where we'll come in first as a consultant, look at what's working, look at what's not working, build the plan out, and then help you execute it along the way.
And you serve as a coach yourself. You, as I understand it, your company, you have a team of coaches.
Correct.
And you come in like a team aspect, almost as you put it, like a board of directors to help entrepreneurs out when they're launching their companies. Really, is that right?
Yeah. So what happens, every one of our coaches, I mean, we have multiple coaches besides myself.
Right.
Every one of our coaches have 2 people behind them, a minimum, and that's a resource coach and a client care coordinator. So they work with the coach, working with companies, with entrepreneurs, with depending on what type of business that you're in. So we might have a team working on the operations part while we're working on the marketing part, while we're working with you as a CEO. I'm working on the company and not working in the company. So we attack coaching as a team as much as we want you to have a team.
What are some of the main problems that you find that entrepreneurs and small business owners are facing at this point when they're really getting off the ground and starting?
I like to say it's 6 inches between their ears.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
It is.
Really.
A lot of times they have to get, I call it getting you past you. You have the vision, you have the business. That's why you're the entrepreneur. That's why you started the company. However, a lot of the challenges that you have is you want to do everything. Most entrepreneurs are control freaks. That's their baby. They don't want anybody helping them with their baby, and they're stopping themselves from growing. So what we do is we work with them in regards to helping bring other people in and effectively delegating some of it. Because truly at the end of the day, a CEO should be working on the company, not in the company.
That's a very interesting way to put it as well. The kinds of companies you work with, I mean, it really runs the gamut. Heavily involved in real estate, right?
Yes.
I mean, and mortgage business, that's a core business you've been involved.
Yes.
You've done a lot of that, but you've done many companies. Give me a little picture of your background, because you've done many things.
Yes. Real estate, mortgage servicing. I worked for one of the largest REO companies during the 2008 crash. I speak on stage with Fannie and Freddie. I've done a lot of consulting for a lot of the government entities. Spoken on stage with U.S. Treasury, CFPB, through all of the major banks, helping to, gracefully,
Yeah.
liquidate REO properties. I've owned
For people who don't know what REO means, what is that?
real estate owned. That's 2008 when the mortgage crashed and all the banks started foreclosing against consumers.
Okay.
So what I do is I work with them in regards to a graceful exit strategy, not just kicking people out on the street and their kids. We work on a graceful exit strategy to be able to help them, along with retaining the properties back and reselling them.
So let's take a look at what happens when you start with a company. What procedures do you go through with these new entrepreneurs who are investing in your knowledge and your background to help them succeed? And as you pointed out, you're in the business of making people millionaires,
Yeah.
and you've done it a lot of times, right?
Yes, I have. Yes, we have actually.
Well, your company, yeah, right.
As a company, the first thing that we want to do is we want to see what's going on with your company. Now, 95% of our coaching is virtual. We're going to do a lot of it with like Google Hangouts and webinars and teleconferences and phone calls.
Right.
And some of them, they hire us to come in for a couple of days to observe their operations team or their sales meetings or conduct sales trainings. So the first thing we look at is we look at the business as a whole and find out what's working and what's not working. That's the first thing. I can't go in with preconceived notions. I have to see what's working and what's not working. We have to decide if we were going to enhance it, if we're going to add something to it, or completely eliminate it and replace it with something else.
So what you're saying doesn't mean that this necessarily is a brand new company starting out. This could be a company that has been going for a couple of years and hasn't taken off the way the owner had hoped it would,
Yeah,
right? And he knows he needs help.
We call it the proverbial glass ceiling.
Right.
You've got to where you're at.
Right.
I explain it kind of this way. You're a great entrepreneur and you open a great company. It's like a restaurant. You're a great chef. However, you can't seat people. You can't be a busboy or a steward or bartender. You can't do any of that. You have to have a team around you. And a lot of times what happens with entrepreneurs with their mindset is they feel, I'm in my comfort level right now. This is great. I'm making good money. However, the growth strategy is the same way as driving down the freeway and you're getting ready to go up a hill. You're getting ready to go up a hill, you put your foot on the gas. The minute you take it off, you're coasting. And that's a challenge that entrepreneurs have, is they take their foot off the gas and they're not growing. And that's where the glass ceiling hits.
What would you say is the biggest single problem you encounter with companies that aren't growing like they should? Is there any one or two things that are key problems?
Complacency.
Okay.
Complacency is the killer of all companies. Once you stay stagnant and you're complacent on where you're at and you're not looking, I always say this, someone else is going to eat your lunch. Your client is being taken by somebody else. Because at complacency means I'm doing great, I'm at the top of my career, I'm at the top of my industry or my service level, and I'm happy where I'm at. While the next hungry guy behind you is building up that speed, and when you stay complacent, he's going to pass you.
All right, so you come in and take a look at the company. You form your own opinions as to what's wrong. Then what happens? What do you do at that point?
So then we work with them on what their goals are going to be. So we work on a 90-day, a 6-month, a 1, 3, 5-year goal, whatever they're looking at doing. Some companies come to us as an exit strategy. They want to sell in 2, 3, 4 years. So we have to help them get organized. We have to help them with their operations. We have to help them with their net profitability to be able to get into that strategy.
So they look attractive to a buyer.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And in most industries, the biggest thing that you'll pay for is past clients and referrals. So the more past clients that come back and use your services in the service industry,
Right.
no matter what it is,
Right.
the more clients that come back and the more referrals that you get, the value of your company goes up. You know, it's kind of like if I'm doing business with you, however, I didn't have the great, I didn't have a great feeling with you, a
Right.
great business.
Right.
I'm not going to refer a friend. The more you refer a friend, the more your company's worth, because that means you've given them that experience that they want to share with others.
I understand you have 71 clients in the real estate who are among the top 250
Yeah.
top teams, according to the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
It is. The Wall Street Journal Real Trends Report issues a top 250 teams by unit and volume, and
Right.
also individuals by unit and volume.
Right.
On the team side of it, we have 71 clients that have won 94 awards.
That's putting it good.
Yeah.
You also you have a saying, you work on the company, not in the company.
Correct.
And that's very important.
It is.
Why is that?
Because the more that a CEO is in the company,
Yeah.
Usually you're holding it back. You're there to be a visionary. We want you building the future. You're the one that built it. You're the entrepreneur that said, this is my dream, this is my vision, this is what somebody will buy or somebody will hire me for. And the more you're in the company servicing that need, you're not looking at what the next step is. Now, that being said, you have to have key reporters that are on the ground level,
Right.
that's sharing information with you.
Right.
So you know what's going on and what can be fixed. But if you're in the trees, you can't see the forest.
The other thing is you really keep in close contact with these companies. And if they have questions, they're free to call you and consult at any time along the way?
Yes.
And you get together with them annually?
Yeah, so we have scheduled calls,
Right.
that are scheduled at Tuesday at 9 o'clock are our scheduled calls.
Right.
Okay, business doesn't happen Tuesday at 9 o'clock. So what our company philosophy is we call it just-in-time coaching. When you have a problem, you reach out to us. Say I'm your coach. If I'm not available,
Yep.
right, and it's an emergency,
Somebody
I'll get
else
another
is.
coach on the phone for you.
You know, there's so much we could go over with you, but the other thing I want to point out is you're a big believer in giving back, and you do a lot of charity work, especially with the Boy Scouts and things like that. You help these entities out. You want to give back.
Yeah.
And you do.
I make it my life lesson. You know, when I was a child growing up, single parent, my mom was in the banking world, never got a raise because back then women in the banking world were, you know, doing my homework under her desk. The first point of business that I ever had was the Boy Scouts of America.
And you've never forgotten.
Never. Scout is trustworthy,
it's a-
loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Bubba, you're a remarkable subject. I'm so glad you've come to be with us.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now it's my honor to present this prestigious award to Bubba Mills, the CEO of Corcoran Consulting and Coaching of O'Fallon, Illinois, for the outstanding work his firm is doing to help keep moving America forward. Bubba, it's a real pleasure to give this to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We've worked hard, my entire team, working with our clients and giving back to our communities, and helping, you know, every single business out there. So you know what? I thank you very much. Thank you. I love you, sweetheart. My wife, Beverly Mills. I appreciate your time. I really do.
You're welcome.
All right.
That's it for another edition of Moving America Forward. I'm Bert Tenzer. Join us again as we continue to bring you the entrepreneurs who move America forward.
I'm William Shatner, and for all of us at Moving America Forward, thanks for watching.